Ladies and gentlemen of Creativity and Innovation at USF St. Petersburg, please offer a warm invitation to Jared Polin, also known as Frono's Photo.
Oh, somebody still used an S. Welcome. Hi. Go Bulls. Oh, there's a woo? Did somebody go woo? My brother went to USF Tampa many moons ago, so I was down here before. Thank you for having me. I just wanted to come down here. I have to come down here for Scott Kelby's show. It's another photographer guy invited me onto his show after being banned from his show prior for ripping on his whatever. I got myself unbanned through Twitter and befriending him, and it's going to be nice to do that. So I figure whenever I travel, it's good to go and we do the Raw Talk, which is the podcast. And so I got hooked up with you through somebody, who works across the street from the Dolly. At the Dolly. The Dolly messed up by not allowing me to do it there, right? Shouldn't have been that hard. But anyway, we then got the location here, which is cool. And so tonight we had 173 tickets go that got moved, and then I cut it off because it probably would have been more. And not everybody's going to show up because they're free tickets. But when I travel, it's always fun to then meet up with readers because in the online world, you're always... Are you taking notes?
Yes.
Really? Yep. What kind of notes?
It's a business model canvas.
I have no idea what a business model canvas is.
So I'm kind of interpreting your business model.
All right. It's going to be a first for my business model because I've never done a canvas myself. Yeah. Well, I didn't exactly have a four-year college. I didn't do that, but we can talk about that in a minute. So when we travel, it's always good to meet up with readers because we live in an online world, but people forget about the social aspect of actually meeting somebody. And when you shake somebody's hand or they come to an event and they get to take a picture with you, anybody in general, it means a lot more than just seeing them online because it puts a face. It makes it real. Like we got my shirt over there, right? Are you a fan? Or were you just dragged along because my female readership is not very high?
I started listening to your show by default.
That's all right, I'll take it.
You grew on me.
Oh, good, because the split is, on YouTube tells us it's 90-10 is the split. 90% men and 10% women. I guess I offend women somehow.
Or those 10% are just extra lucky.
Or they are extra lucky. So, yeah, so I don't prepare anything. I don't like to show up with any stuff to talk about. I know what it's like. It's here. I don't like knowing the questions beforehand if there are any, but this is all about questions, so you have to ask them. That's what drives the conversation, and that's what will take me in whatever direction you guys want to go. Does that make sense? So if you want to know anything at all, just ask, because that's how I can help. Anybody? Anybody? You got to ask. You can't, this is a school. Go ahead.
So who do you really try to target for your market? Like who are you really trying to market to?
So I'll repeat every question for the people at home. That's a first good thing.
If I can quick interject, say who you are, introduce yourself, tell what your major or minor is, and then your question, okay? Oh, my name is Lance. I'm an entrepreneurship major.
Nice. And the question, because I forgot it already.
No. Who are you trying to market to?
Who am I trying to market to is the question. Oh, I forgot to do my intro. Let me do my intro. And this is all good. Jared Polin, FronosPhoto.com here at the University of South Florida on the campus of St. Pete. Go Bulls. And I forgot to do my intro earlier, so I'm filling it in now. For you guys watching at home, this is an entrepreneurial class. And what else is it? Creativity and entrepreneurial. It's really good. And they have a smart window where you flick a switch, I'll show you later, and it turns it on and it turns it off. It's awesome. I wish I had something like that at my... You know what? I will go put some of that in at my house. Maybe, if I can think about it. So what I'm going to do for you guys at home is this class, they're going to ask the questions. You may have heard some of these things before, but if not, just enjoy, and I'll repeat the questions that I forgot for the third time. Who do I market to? First question, who do I market to? From Lance? Lance. For me... From the beginning or now?
We'll go from the beginning, and then lead into now.
Yeah, so the beginning, I wasn't marketing to anybody in particular. The idea was to create a site where I would showcase my work and hopefully get more work out of it. Because I thought that if I become the person, it's good to become the authority in something. So I was at some events and I listened to some people talk about a whole lot of internet marketing mumbo jumbo, and I didn't like a lot of that stuff. But I liked the people that didn't fake it. Does anybody know Gary Vaynerchuk? Gary V? Just only the teacher, really. Only the teacher. Well, Gary, I saw Gary speak before I had my website, and then I stayed in touch with him, and we still talk. He was on my Raw Talk. He's going to be coming down again to be on my Raw Talk again. But when I started out, it was start a site to showcase my work in the hopes that I would get more work out of it, and that didn't happen. What happened really at the beginning was I was putting up videos helping people or just putting out information that I thought was important, and people started to ask questions. And I realized that the people that were watching were not people that were going to hire me, but they were people that wanted to learn. They looked up to me as somebody who had success in the field because I have my work from Rolling Stone and traveling with bands and doing all of that, and they wanted to know more information. So, you talk about business, everybody talks about pivoting, and you go the direction sometimes that people are taking you. You have that choice. You can either be, Foursquare just pivoted to, but Foursquare sucks. Nobody uses. Did you guys even use Foursquare at any point to check in? Because that's going back like 7 years now, and you guys are all, like teenagers and stuff. Just kidding. No, Foursquare just had to pivot to something else. But pivoting in business is, you hear about it all the time, how one business started as X. Like Snapchat didn't start, quote unquote, as a sexting chat app, but it was. And then they pivoted with My Stories. They had to compete, and they found a new direction to go, and it's extremely powerful. So who am I marketing to? Did I even answer that question at all yet?
No. Well, you were from the beginning. So now.
Right. So nowadays, that's the beginning. And this happens to me all the time. I go off on tangents and forget what I'm saying, and somebody has to wrangle me back because my brain just goes all over the place. But yeah, Steven likes when that happens, especially when we're like meeting.
They're used to it, I promise.
Oh, all right. Well, that's good. So once I pivoted, the direction was to create fun and informative content that kept people coming back for more. And it was every single day I was putting out content. Sometimes twice a day I was putting up a video. The reason I chose to put up video, if you want to talk about marketing-wise, because I can't sit there and write an article. That takes me a hell of a lot longer than if I just spit into the camera for 4.5 minutes. Because the first camera that I used was a Nikon D3S that allowed me to do 5 minutes. And so I had to set the camera myself, set the microphones, set the focus, hit the record button, get into my chair, sit down, 15 seconds is already gone, start talking to the camera, had to make sure I didn't go over 5 minutes because if I did, it cut it off. And I didn't know how to edit, so I knew that I wanted to get it right on the first shot, or if I messed up, just kept going and acknowledged it. Because at that time, like 5 years ago on YouTube or 4.5 years ago, it was highly polished, a lot of editing, a lot of people that if they messed up, they would never show it. And I just came out there and if I messed up, I messed up. I just owned it. You just own it and you keep moving. Oh shit, I said the wrong thing, I need to keep going. And you do, and you correct yourself. And I think people liked that it was real, it wasn't fake, it wasn't bullshit. And that's what I like. So I think I'm getting towards the question somewhere in there. Marketing.
Yeah, who do you market to?
Yeah, so nowadays, it's going after the largest segment of photographers, which are the hobbyists, the beginners. Because you can choose to go after the professionals, but what the hell am I going to do for a professional? If they're already a professional, there's not much I can help them with. They should kind of already know what they're doing at that point. But the beginner market, the 95% of the photographers out there are, maybe even 98 to 99% of the photographers are beginners or amateurs who pick up their first camera and then start Googling something. Oh, that brings me back to why I went on YouTube in the first place. Because Google owns YouTube, and if you own that, you own the search. So if you search a lot of stuff, you're going to see the third thing down on Google is usually a video. And if it's something related to photo, it's could be one of my videos. So marketing-wise, going after those beginners is where it's at. I target them, we get them onto the email list, which what they call a funnel. You get them into the funnel, and then you have these autoresponders that deliver quality content, because I do not want to deliver crap. I want to give them great information. I have 1,800 videos, so I want to start feeding them some of the best videos over the last 4.5 years. That way people can be okay with opening emails. Because email, what? Notes. Oh, all right. I was just trying to see what you were laughing at. No, it's all right. I get distracted. It happens. Where was I going? Emails. So, remember, do you talk about email marketing here? A little bit. Because email marketing was strong for a long while, and then it became very spammy. And now it's coming back that if you engage people and do something, give them a reason to open the email. It's such an effective way to target people because these are people that are not buying, they're signing up to get information from you. And if you send them a bunch of crap and a bunch of marketing stuff, or you just try to sell, they're gonna get off your email list. Now, I've been adding like 500 signups a day right now to the email list, which is strong. Organically, I was doing for the first 4 years anywhere between 75 to 100 signups a day, depending on if I put out a new video that was really popular that started with a, hey, why don't you sign up for my email list? I'm giving you something free. Then it would maybe spike to 300. But recently, you want to talk about marketing, been crushing Facebook advertising. It's highly targetable. You know, I can target who I want to target. I can find other photographers' pages that are out there and say, I want to target their readers that aren't fans of me yet, and I want to do something about it. So we can directly target them with whatever the message is I'm trying to get them. And right now I've got a contest going on that's going to give away a Nikon D750 or a Canon 7D Mark II. It's going to be somebody's choice. And then there's the DJI Phantom, one of the helicopters, and then there's like thousands of dollars of other prizes. And that's a contest that I started 2 months ago, and it's going to end at the end of February. But people are signing up, and they're sticking. They're staying with the autoresponder. They're not unsubscribing because we're giving them quality information, and that is the answer. That's how I've been marketing. It's just targeting. Now it's about targeting. I built organically for a long time, and you can just build so much quicker when you throw money at stuff. But if you throw the right amount of, you don't just throw money away. You do it smartly. So spending $250 a day on Facebook isn't that bad. At the end of the year, my accountant said spend some more money. We were spending $750 a day and adding over 1,000 new signups. And then we look at the autoresponder sequence and we see that we went from sending 600 follow-ups a day to 6,000 follow-ups. So imagine if you convert at 10% or something across 600. Imagine now just aggregate it up. Now you have 6,000, getting 10% of that's a hell of a lot more, and it's costing me a little bit of money, but it's generating a hell of a lot more revenue. Yes?
Can you tell us more about the conversion? Convert to what?
Convert to sales. So what are they buying? That's what you want to know? What is this thing? Is this like one of those things that projects whatever's down here? It's like an overhead projector. Does anybody know what an overhead projector is? Or did you used to have overheads? And I remember back in school, and then I'll get back to your question, like junior high school, I got one of those HP inkjet things, one of the first color ones, and I could go buy transparency film for it, and I could print on it and bring it into school. Because I used to do a half-assed job on the information in the reports, but I used to make them look awesome because I always thought if they looked freaking cool and they had a cover, that I'd get like bonus points, which worked, and then they would read it, but then you get that little bit of bump for that creativity part, because I was always good with that. Converting. So when I'm putting somebody on the email list, and by the way, this is all, very transparent. I'd say it to the camera. I'm very transparent in what I say, because other people can learn from it, and it's no secret. It's not a secret how to do this stuff. But most people don't know because most people don't talk about it. But when you get somebody onto an email list, we hit them with the autoresponder that sends, I don't know how many weeks it's set up for right now, but it's going to start to expand. But the first, say, 3 or 4 emails we hit are like, these are my 2 best videos ever that I think you can learn from. Or actually, the very first thing they get is my free ebook, The Front-Nose Photo Guide to Getting Out of Auto. No, The Front-Nose Photo Guide to Low-Light Photography, that one. So when they sign up, that's one of the ways that I get them into the site, is you offer them a free product. They sign up, that gets instantly emailed to them, and they get that, and they can enjoy it. And then we hit them with a couple more emails spread out every other day with quality information, like do you want to get out of auto, or here's some of my 3 best tips. I try not to get too internet markety, but my guy that helps me with the emails has proven that it actually does work when you follow certain methods, use certain words. I don't like bullshit, and I don't like spammy stuff, so I still pull back on it sometimes. But you get them into that by the 5th email. You may say, hey, by the way, are you having trouble getting out of auto? I have a product. This product is the Fronos Photo Guide to Getting Out of Auto. It's $67 on sale from $97, and if you want to, you could pick it up right now. So you've gotten people into the funnel, and then you offer them something. And then you get back to giving them more free content. Or I also do weekly or emails multiple times during a week. I'll promote my Raw Talk. I'll promote just if I wrote something that I thought was profound, which sometimes happens, and then I think it's going to help people, I'll send it out in an email. Just because I have a communication with the 150,000 people that are on it. And open rates, those are good numbers to talk about. Open rates can be the first one you send. You can get anywhere from between 20 and 30% open rate. And then you can resend again to the people that didn't open. There's software out there. I use Aweber. It's an online storage place for email addresses. And because back in the 90s when people could just spam everybody, the government changed so that you had to get a certification to send out mass emails, because it has to go through special servers, because if you try to do it yourself, you'll get blocked. If you try to send I don't know how many emails an hour, if it's 50 emails an hour on Google or something before they block you. So you have to go through services like this, and it costs $1,000 a month right now to have that many emails. Actually, it's probably even more because we keep adding a lot. But it's kind of like your bank account. When you want to make money or something, or you want to offer a product, you have your email list. You have your people that want to be there. So you can send to them, and then you can convert. And did that answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to help students make the connection between offering free content that readers find useful.
Yeah.
And helping them solve their photography problems or needs because they've got an appetite to learn from you.
Sure.
And you can provide a solution.
Well, yeah, and so I don't need to repeat that at home because I'll answer it here. But the reason I went with the free model, and I didn't think about selling stuff early. I knew it would happen down the road, is because why not offer it for free? Everybody's trying to sell something. Just give it away. And, well, the thank you economy, as Gary Vee has written about or talked about, is you give, and then ask. You can keep giving stuff, and people feel like you've given them so much content that why wouldn't they buy a T-shirt, or why wouldn't they support the product? Even if they don't need it, they may spend $97 for the product because you've given them so much free content, so they pay you back. And not everybody's going to buy everything, which is fine, but a good amount of people do, and then you make money from other ways, and it's a good way to do it, I think. I think free is a great model, because when I came along and was talking to all these internet marketers, they were all like, how do you get so much traffic? If I had this much traffic, I'd be converting this. And these are guys talking about bullshit dating products, which is the dumbest thing in the world, dating products. But they make so much money selling the guys who think they need their help to get a date, other than walking up to somebody and saying hi. Or sending them a text or a Snapchat. But, yeah, free. Good? Questions? Let's go. Yes?
You've partnered with Squarespace recently or in the past. Are you able to see what kind of rates you're sending them? Because, of course, I don't know if they're sending you people or you're getting, or if you're just converting your viewers to use Squarespace. Are you able to see the
God bless you.
the number of people that are signing up and using Squarespace?
So the question, what's your name?
Tommy.
Tommy asked about Squarespace, said I partnered up. I'm working with Squarespace. I don't get paid from them. I mean, I end up making money, but it's not from them being like, here, advertise us. It's all based off of CPA, which is clicks per acquisition. So when somebody signs up and they have to stay a customer for 3 months, which is a very risky thing to take on, thinking, oh, are people going to sign? You want to get, as soon as you sign somebody up, you'd love to get paid. But 3 months is like, holy shit, that's a long time. But when I went to Squarespace to contact them, there were 2 sites that wanted to work with me. Good, Stephen? 2 sites. There was SmugMug, which is good for certain things, and there was Squarespace. And I went and I signed up for both myself and tried to set up the SmugMug, couldn't figure out how to set up the SmugMug, just couldn't pick a template. Just like the simplest thing, I couldn't even figure out how to pick the template. And then I went on to Squarespace, and in 3 seconds I had a template, and in 30 minutes I had a full functioning site up and running. So when I work with a company like that, or when I work with any company, it's because I personally like their product. I wouldn't work with a company if I don't like their product. And that's how I keep credibility, is I won't promote crap. Because people can see right through that. But the Squarespace thing, when I started doing that, it's very good. Because I don't have to do anything for them that I don't want to do. I can make as many or as few videos as I want. The goal is to get people to convert and sign up. I'm just trying to dance around the whole, I can tell you privately stuff, but I do know the numbers. I see the numbers each week. They come every Monday, and the conversions are pretty insane. It's pretty insane because I think it's twofold. First and foremost, the product is great. Has anybody used Squarespace? There's a 50% off offer. If you go to squarespace.com/fro, and then you go to squarespace.com/students, you can get 50% off the first year.
Some people may not know what Squarespace is.
Does anybody not know what Squarespace is? Squarespace is basically a turnkey drag-and-drop WYSIWYG solution for making a website or an e-commerce platform. You guys don't know what GeoCities is, do you?
Yeah, I haven't heard that in a while.
GeoCities. What was the other one? Steven, didn't you tell me the other one the other day? AngelFire. Yeah. Basically, it's a way that it's a pay service to make a website, and it's $8 a month, which is pretty insane, and that includes the hosting and the customer support's insane. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sometimes they have live chat. Their knowledge base is incredible. Boring at times for the videos, because that's how these people tend to make videos. They're really boring. But the service just works. And it's not hard to sell a product that you just say, look, I could tell you all day how great it is. Just try it for yourself. They give you a 14-day free trial where you don't even have to put in a credit card number. So what do you have to lose? I'm like, you like it, you like it. You don't, no harm, no foul. So I use it personally for jaredpoland.com, which is, it's just, when I started using, the first video I made, I got some crap from some other web developers. They're like, this is like hiring that shitty photographer that doesn't know what they're talking about. And I'm like, no, it's not, because whenever I've dealt with web developers, I have to go to them every time I want a change to be made. And now I'm on their timeline. They need to make this change, and they have to recode it and do the HTML, and then I got to pay them for that. Now I can just do it, in my opinion, professionally and get something that I want that I can actually do. And that's why I use it. And this isn't meant to be a sales pitch or anything. It's just when you're passionate about a product because it actually works, then I'm going to promote it. But if anybody needs something like that, they do offer you 50% off. I don't know if your school's a part of it, but it probably is. And the way that it is? Yeah. Awesome. Did you use my code?
I did not.
You are a dick.
I'm still in my trial period.
You need to send them an email right now. No, did you sign up for a student one?
Not yet. I'm on the trial still.
I didn't know. See, I didn't go through the process yet to see how you do the. They said to me, if I send them to squarespace.com/fro, so there's a URL that they track. So they know where my people are entering. And what's cool is when it pops up on the screen, not only does it register that they came from me, from my link, but it also tells them at checkout, use code FRO to get 10% off your first order. So when it comes to students, you could say you signed up through me, you can send it to customer service, and maybe or maybe they won't give me credit, but you would go to squarespace.com/fro, then squarespace.com/students, and then you get your free trial, and I think that's supposed to give me credit for it, which it doesn't hurt. It doesn't suck. It's a really good thing. I mean, they have an unbelievable business model, because if you go back 6 or so years ago, between 6 and 8 years, everything was free online. Free this, free that, free this, free that, but these companies were going out of business because they couldn't sustain it. Nobody could sustain it. So what you've seen now is you've got the freemium. It's free to do X, but then you have add-ons where the company can actually make money and actually succeed. There's nothing wrong with asking for the sale. So I come back to that. I do get the numbers, and the conversion rate is, for last year, I won't throw over a 1-year period, it was 59% of the people that took free trials converted to paying customers, because the product is that good. And I don't have to sell, you don't have to sell anything. All I do is show people how I set up my site, Or just be like, look, I found this in there. Or I critique somebody else's website, and it doesn't even have to be a Squarespace site that I critique. And at the end of the video, I say this, you know what? Check out Squarespace. If you're looking to build your own website, try this. And then people funnel in. They use the link that I give them, and then they go and hopefully sign up and then try it out for themselves. Because the best thing that anybody can do is try it out and see for themselves. You don't have to sell hard. So the numbers are insane. Because everybody's looking for the ROI. You talk about ROI because return on investment, and everybody wants to know those numbers. Like, what's the ROI of X, Y, and Z? It's not easy to get the ROI of things today, especially in the online world. But when I throw numbers around like that 59% conversion rate to people that want to possibly advertise, they sit there and they go, holy shit. I was talking to a guy at Adobe, and I told him that number, and he fell off his chair. He's like, those are the numbers we would love to look for. And so it makes it easier for me that when I have proof, that's why I ask every advertiser that comes along, or anybody, like MePhoto, these tripods that we're using right here, I didn't pay for those. I requested those 4 days ago, possibly to use for travel tripods for Raw Talk. So I have an advertising guy who reaches out to companies, which makes it so much easier for me because he has relationships from the past. I said, I want to try these out. So he talked to them. They're $369 a pop, and they sent 3 of them. And I made a video about them on Facebook, and just that they came in, I'm like, look, I wanted to try these out. Do they suck? I don't know. Do you guys use them? What is your experience? So I left it with a question for them, for the readers, to interact. Because it's not always sell, sell, sell online. If you just keep telling people shit and you don't ask questions, it's all about engagement. So I engaged on Facebook, and I said, do you use them? What are your experiences? Some were good, and the majority were, some were bad, and the majority were pretty favorable. Like, I don't know how good they're going to be yet, but I wanted to test them out. And I'm just honest with people and saying, I'm testing these things out, and we'll see how they are. But I put up the video on Facebook. I did an Instagram thing. I did a Snapchat thing. And the numbers are pretty insane. So companies like this may get 200 clicks a month off of a banner ad. Banner ads are bullshit. Banner ads, you know, when you first started using the internet, you probably saw those banner ads for, what was it, reunion? Was it not reunions, or what was that? When they wanted you to sign up, Classmates.com, right? Classmates.com, they're paying like pennies, a penny for 1,000 clicks. They just threw it up everywhere. It wasn't targeted. And that burned out really quick. But when I do something like talk about that tripod and say, here's more information if you want to know about it, and they get 500, 600 clicks on one post, and that's blowing out their monthly clicks from another website, that just tells them that like, you're getting a lot of good stuff there. Should I keep going? See what I'm saying? These questions, they just lead to 8 million things. Because that leads to the link tracking is so important. Knowing your analytics. If you do not know your analytics, you're done. Because if you can't show somebody some results, because that's the ROI thing. I get some advertisers that they would call, or sponsors, and be like, we're not seeing a lot of click-throughs from your website to ours. And I'm like, can you get on the phone right now? Because I can't type this out to you. So I got the guy on the phone, and I said to him, like, let me just explain the way that I do this. I'm engaging people on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and I'm directing them back to your website from wherever they find you. Or I'm just making them aware of your product. Just so that in their mind, they go, oh, when you need to get prints made, think of Adorama Picks the first time. And that's who I was on the phone with. So, you know, I said to him, I'm like, you're not going to, he's like, why am I not seeing a lot of clicks from your site? And I said, because you won't. And I'm not going to, you know, pander to people and just be like, well, that's what you want, so I'm going to try and do it. No, you have to tell people these days how you're going to do it. You can't just let them drive the ship. You can listen. You definitely need to listen and understand what their goals are. But I told him, you're going to see this. You're going to look at all the numbers here. Look at the numbers here. Look at the 1,500 comments that people left when I said, I want to see your best photos ever on Facebook. So what happened? Because people can post comments with photos, 1,500 people posted photos with comments. And I said, why don't you like the ones you like? And they'll come up to the top. And then I'm going to go through and I didn't tell Adorama this. I said, I'm going to give away some credit to the one that I like. So I went through all 1,500 photos, and I found the one that I liked, and it didn't even have the most likes. It was one near the bottom, but I thought it was the best photo. And then I did a video about it, and I posted it. And I'm like, that's called awareness. And like, I can't tell you I can't give you all the numbers to this, but the brand awareness over the last 3 years is pretty important. So that was just how I had to deal with, I guess, internet entrepreneurship and all this type of stuff makes sense. You have to get on the phone with people. Skip the emails. Emails are fine, but get people on the phone, get them on Skype, face to face, so that they can understand you. Because I had to close some deals with some companies. Rode microphone. See, I just give it all away. I just say it. Rode was a little concerned that I was being negative about their product. But I point out things that are wrong with every product, whether you're an advertiser, sponsor, or not. But I said to them, I said, look, I can't just sit here and say it's all roses and butterflies on your stuff and it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, because people would be like, that's bullshit. So if there's something wrong with something, I'm going to point it out. But then there's 6 positives about it. You know, so you just have to take it. This is it. This is how it's going to be done, and people appreciate that. Because there's so many people making just straight up sales pitch videos, and you know that they're getting paid by a sponsor, being like, oh, this is the most amazing thing ever. It's so unbelievable. And it's not. There's always, to me, you have to find something wrong with something. You have to. You have to point it out. Good? Bad? Indifferent? Are we having fun? Nobody's fallen asleep yet? Yes?
What kind of seminars or events do you hold?
Your name is? Jasmine. What kind of seminars and events do I hold? Is that the whole question?
Yeah, like do you do classes to help people with campus?
Sure. So what do I, seminars, classes, I did boot camps back in the day, where I would do Fronos Photo boot camps between 15 and 25 people, charge $500 a pop. We did it in London. We had 25 people show up there. Did it in Manchester during the week and had 14 people there. I love teaching. I love hands-on style. I was a Montessori kid, if anybody knows Montessori school. You know, I just learned how to grate a carrot and then cut it and then give 2 to each kid. You know, that's, I don't know, it was all hands-on. You didn't know you were learning. So that's how I like to teach, hands-on, visuals, and actually showing. I like doing the boot camps, but I also love doing the raw talks. It's more entertainment for me. It's enjoyable. Like boot camps take a lot of work. You have to get 15, you have to market and target ads to these specific areas. If you're coming to Florida, then I'm targeting people in that area or within 100 miles or maybe even more to do boot camps. I need to get back into doing it, but my thing is I need to have somebody that sets that up for me now, that reaches out and says, Jared, here's 3 options for locations that you could do it in. Like physically call these studios and say, I found this is how much it's going to cost, here's how much hotels are. Because at some point, I keep spitting on your floor. At some point, you need to delegate responsibility, and that is hard for me to do. And it's not hard to delegate, it's just hard for me to find people that I think do a quality enough job that I want to work with. It's just one of, like Steven busts his freaking ass off and is he's so good at what he does. I'll knock on, is this wood or fake? You know, it's something like wood. You know, he sets everything up here and I don't have to worry so much as I used to that if somebody was here that didn't know what they were doing, is the camera still rolling? Is it in focus? You know, stuff like that, and editing. He'll take this home and he'll edit it and then upload it to our channel as private so that I can fill in the rest of the information. And that just allows me to focus on something else. I've started to learn, you know, one of my friends he founded StubHub. You guys know StubHub? And I met him, he went to school in Philly. I met him through his other company, and I would sit and talk to him. He talked on Raw Talk, and anytime I need help or somebody to talk to as like a mentor, I can get him on I send him emails and he responds. And like when I was trying to figure out Steven's raise and bonus for this year, Steven was full-time for 3 months. I didn't know what a bonus or a raise should look like. I had no clue. So I reached out to him because he had a huge company and he still has another big company, and it's like, what do I do? And he gave me the formula. He's like, this is what I would do. This is what I've done in the past. And it all depends on how you feel. You know, how well does that person really do? So that was a great help. Having the mentors and stuff like that is good. I'll get back to the original question in a minute, I'm sure. But being able to have, what I've started to realize is, how do you build a big-ass business? I don't know. Now, I'm in the process of working at it, but having these teams of people that do X, Y, and Z that you can touch base with every week or you can still touch base with them every day, but these people are the experts at handling what you need to do on your website. These are the people that are experts at finding helping you target Facebook ads. Because I'm not an expert in that, but I have a guy that is. So I work with him because he's like, I think we should try this. And it's a lot of trial and error, A/B testing. When I was at these internet marketing events, they talked about split testing. I'm like, I don't know what the hell that means. Well, it's really simple. A and B. This one is red and this one's blue. Which one converts better? I didn't understand because they were using these terms. They didn't break it down simple for me. Sometimes simple terms work better. But testing things out, you have to try different things because you never know what's going to work. I'm not the expert. Does anybody watch, what's that show, Steven? Not Shark Tank, because I love Shark Tank. Profit. You guys watch The Profit? That is a freaking show you all should be watching in business class. God, it's on, if you have Apple TV, it's on, and you can watch it on CNBC. It's so good. There's so much to learn just from watching this Marcus Leonis guy talk about going into businesses. It's the same stuff every week, but it's still enjoyable because it hammers it home. Or when you watch, does anybody watch Shark Tank? Everybody. Who's your favorite shark?
The original, Kevin Harrington, because he's on our board.
The short guy. He's short. I met him. Yeah, he's not on Shark Tank anymore. He never would ever. He didn't put a lot of money in. He did like the shitty kitty shitty, whatever, the shitty kitty, whatever the cat on the toilet did.
Who's your favorite?
Oh yeah, you want me to get off of the board member guy? No, I met him at a ClickBank event. He actually was from Philadelphia. He had very close, just busting balls. I love Mark Cuban. I will listen to everything that Mark has to say because he says it like it is. The guy isn't. He's arrogant maybe, but he's earned it. You sell your company to Yahoo for $6 billion right before the bubble bursts, and now you can go do whatever you want. You just, when he says something, you sit there and you go, that makes sense. And he says it like it is to people. And that's what it's all about. There's no pussyfooting, which is, I think I invented that. Maybe my dad did. Pussyfooting around things. You just do it. You just say it like it is, and people are going to learn. So I definitely watch Shark Tank and watch The Profit. The Profit's really awesome to watch. And I forget classes. So now I do Raw Talks. I enjoy doing the Raw Talks because that gets in front of people and finding a sponsor. So I started Raw Talk. We're on episode 100, and this is going to be 117 that we do tonight. And I started that because I don't know, I wanted to do a podcast. And then the early advice I had was that podcasts are audio. Why would you do video? And I'm like, but I have this many subscribers on YouTube. I should probably do video. So then I found a way to start to do video, and then Steven came to me, wasn't working for me, and was like, I can do better. I can make your audio better. I want to add extra angles. That's all I ever want somebody to do is come to the table and say, you know what, here's what I can do and what I'm going to do. Not always look to me for direction. Because that is the hardest thing to do is when you always have to be telling somebody what to do, you want them to come to you and just say, I kick ass at this. They own it. He said, I can do this, and I'm going to do this, and he's done it. And it started off where I let him do photo news, and then he would get off the table and sit to the side. And then I started to talk to him more and more. And I'm like, you might as well just stay at the table all show because you're my Robin Quivers, you know? And then I sit there and except he's not a woman or black. I make him blush. It's not racism. I always say that during the podcast. If he says, oh, everybody's looking at me weird, like, what's he going to say? But, so I don't even, the podcast. So episode 17, I think Gary Vaynerchuk was the first one I videoed up in his office. The guy gets paid $50,000 to go speak. He tells people that. You get $50,000 to go speak. That's pretty insane. And he opened up an hour for us to come up to New York and just sit with him and just bullshit for my podcast. It was great. So that was a lot of fun. So the show has opened up opportunities because I don't like taking sponsorship and just flat out doing a plug. But when you're giving away an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of content and you're going to do a 2-minute read on something, you think that people would be okay with it. So I have sponsors in Raw Talk that I flat out say, this is a plug, we're going to get to the plug. But you make it fun. I listen to Stern. I listen to how he does his plugs. They're awesome. because they're real. They keep you engaged. They don't suck. It's like Kevin Smith when he does plugs on his stuff. His plugs are great. You know, when he talks about Blue Apron and putting, eating the food that they have because he calls himself a fat guy, and it's good. If you can listen to a plug and enjoy it, then they're doing something right. So I've learned a lot from listening to them do that, but I've also been okay with taking advertising and sponsorship for that, but on long term. I don't do one-offs. I don't want somebody coming on board and being like, oh, we want you to say this, because I won't say what they want me to say. I just say, what is your goal? What are you looking to do? And then I'll craft it to how I think I want to do it, because I think people will enjoy it a certain way. So, I don't know, Jasmine, did I even answer anything? Because I don't remember. Yeah, all right. Whew, I just like talking. More questions. I don't even know what that thing's called. Business model canvas. Is it like a mind map?
No, so like I've just been listening to you and your business. So like this would be who you're trying to market.
Right.
You're like trying to market to beginner photographers, and then your value and what you.
Ah.
And so, no crap.
Right. Well, first and foremost is always no crap. Steve, am I making it easy on you by not moving?
Yep.
Do you want me to move?
Nope.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How do you make money?
Lance is asking how I make money. Okay. How do you monetize? That's always the big question everyone wants to know. How do you monetize free? YouTube, you can make money on YouTube. Some of the big-ass YouTubers are making lots and lots of money on there. I don't make a ton of money off of YouTube. It's a nice chunk of change, but my focus is not to make money on YouTube. I do pre-roll ads that you can skip, because you have the option to set them as pre-rolls that you can skip, or you force people to watch an ad for 15 seconds. I see too many people starting out on YouTube that force people to watch an ad for 15 seconds. If they're not engaging with your work enough and they don't know who you are, then they're not going to. I skip videos that are 30 seconds to make me sit there if I don't know the content. Unless it's got like 2 million views, there's probably a reason why it has 2 million views. It's worthwhile to sit through it. So my goal, you can see up on the screen right now, you see that it has a link at the end of that video to the Fronos Photo Guide, the DSLR video. I make money off of selling, I have 3 video guides. I sell 3 different guides. One's $67, the second one's $67, and the latest one, this one, is $97. So the goal is you get people to watch your videos, they find your site, they find your old videos, they get on your email list, and you monetize by offering people something for sale. I sell merch. I've been selling t-shirts since 10 days. When the site launched on June 1st, 2010, 10 days later I had my first I Shoot Raw shirt. I don't know, I knew how bands did it from touring with bands. They made money off of merch. I was selling them for $11.99 and maybe making $3 at the time because I didn't get my prices down yet. When the more you buy in an order, the more money you save because it's cheaper. But that's the way you can do it. You can have affiliate deals with somebody like Squarespace, where you can. They offer. No, I can't go into that. There's people that want to just pay you to flat out do things, or you could believe in their product and believe in your ability to get it to people, and you can take an affiliate deal. Affiliate, like if any of you guys had a site and it was related to photography or videography, you can become an affiliate to my product. Through ClickBank, you can sign up, and every one that you sell, we have it set to, it's probably set to 40% of the sale. So of the $97, less the fees that ClickBank takes, you get 40% of that. There's people out there that just affiliate people's products and make lots of money doing it. I'm not a big fan of affiliates. Personally, I mean, they can push my stuff all day long, but I've seen the only effective affiliates are the ones that already have a following of people that are pretty niche to the product that I'm doing. The super affiliates that like to sell dating products and the fitness industry is all about affiliates. They'll give away 75% of the sale just to get people to buy. Like somebody will have a list of 1 million people. They'll send the email out to affiliate this guy's product. People will buy it. He makes only 25%. They make 75% of it, but he just captured all those people's email addresses so that when he offers his product the next time, he now gets 100% of the sale. So that's a trade game. You know, that's affiliate marketing. So there's a way. you take sponsorship money that people can just either cut you a check, you can make money that way, but selling your own products is freeing. It's freeing because I can talk to an advertiser and say, I don't need your money. I don't need your money. I'd like to work with you, but I'd rather not take a lot of advertisers. I don't want a lot of sponsors and I don't want a lot of advertisers. I want to sell my own stuff because then I'm beholden to nobody. I don't have to answer to anybody else. I don't have to, a lot of these websites that don't make content like this, that are all click-based, that put up banner ads, then they're PPC, pay per click. When somebody clicks this, they make X amount of dollars. And they have to find sponsors that are willing to put banner ads up. And they make money off of the more clicks. That's why when you see clickbait, we'll talk about clickbait in a minute, but somebody remind me clickbait. Got it? So clickbait, right there. C-L, then I lost my train of thought. What was my train of thought when I wanted to remember clickbait? Where was I going? Banner ads, yeah, because people, you see the clickbait, which gets more people to come into the site, which just ups how many people come to the site, which ups how many times a banner is shown. The more page views, the more banners that get shown, but it's so ineffective. Banner ads suck. They don't convert. They really don't. But somebody standing here and going, you know what? I personally use this and I like it. Try it out. That converts. And if there's a link for it, like Squarespace, that they can see the numbers, it's gold when you can do that. So that's why I sell my own products. 3 products for sale, 1,800 free videos on YouTube. Just continually putting out free content. Raw Talk is free for people to watch. I will put this up for video content. I'll put it up, and it's how long have I been talking? Steven? 50 minutes already? Did I even say anything? So this will go up. I did a video called, I spoke at my old college. It was a 2-year photography school. They had me speak to the kids or people that were graduating, and I titled it, it was an hour and a half, and it's all over the place, but it's really good, I think. And I titled it The Truth About Photography, telling it like it is to a bunch of college students, which goes against all conventional wisdom for SEO purposes on YouTube or anywhere. Putting up a title, that has 500,000 views. I don't understand it. I think it's the truth about photography that grabbed people, but that goes against everything for SEO purposes. People watch that video, and what you will see in the comment section, which I don't really go into, is, can I curse in here? It's college, right?
I mean, you said pussyfoot.
Well, pussyfoot's not a curse. I said bullshit's not a curse. Earmuffs, if you want to have earmuffs, I warned before. They're like, this guy's a fucking arrogant asshole. The next quote, the next comment right below it, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. So it's all over the place with comments. Like, it's just insane. It's the polar opposite. I got so much out of this. You're a dick. It's just, that's just what you, that's just the nature of the internet. And you just have to stay away from comments. Comments, yes.
I do appreciate the way you handled that troll, because I watched that video and I read that comment thread.
There's about 70 of those trolls. Yeah. How did I do it?
Well, you sort of honored the guy's perspective, but then came back with some humor involved as well. Started calling the guy out on his lack of any substance in his.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna rip on me, then point it out. But I rarely comment back to the haters. What you do is you let your readers, you can watch your readers defend you, and then the internet thing happens. I'm going to beat your ass and you're a dick. All of that stuff. Yeah, that's just typical internet stuff. So I stay out of that myself, mostly. Yeah?
I've got a real question. I want to know, we talk a lot about business.
Yeah.
And I think students appreciate that. And I want to know a little bit about the artistry, though. Like, what's magic about photography to you?
What's,
Obviously, you're passionate.
okay.
You've been doing it your whole life. What's special about it?
All right, so the question is, what's special about photography? Getting away from the business stuff more so than anything. Photography for me, it's just capturing, I love capturing the moment. It's just something about going into a scene, pre-visualizing what you're going to capture, and then having to challenge yourself to actually capture it. When I started shooting photos, when I started at 13 shooting with a point-and-shoot camera that my mom had, a Fuji Discovery 1000, and I sat there in junior high school shooting pictures with a point-and-shoot, and we got them back, and my composition and my framing and everything was right on. It was pretty amazing to do that. And then over time, you get better and better and better. And it's just photography. I think today, photography is what I do. Like, that's what I did. Started at 13, continue to shoot, love shooting. But I also love branding, as I've discovered in the last 5, 6 years, or it's always been about it, even going back to junior high school. Like I said, having that inkjet printer and putting covers on things to make my reports look awesome, though the substance may have suffered a little bit, I still made it look good. You know, I knew that was part of the marketing angle of it. But I'm just being passionate about anything. That's what I'm passionate about. But I also love the business, I love the branding, I love the marketing angles. So I say to anybody, if you're going to get into anything, at some of the internet marketing things, they said you can exploit any niche you want, even if it's not, it could be dog grooming, and you don't know anything about dogs, but there's a way to exploit it. I'm like, yeah, but if you're not passionate about it, you're going to not enjoy doing it. Why do it? Did I answer that? I kind of pussyfooted around it.
I still feel like you've got layer upon layer of sort of what's magical about photography. Because you've been following around musicians,
Yeah.
been on the road. Like, there's something beautiful about the artistry of it to you, and I feel like maybe you can peel the onion.
So talk about that more. So being on the road with bands. So, you know, everybody thinks being on the road with bands is glamorous, which it's not. It's 12 people on a tour bus. Well, it can. The goal is to keep it nice and cold and nice and clean, because you can't open the windows. Yeah, no, yeah, no windows. No, but you just make sure that it's clean and all of that stuff. But I just love, you know, you go into these environments where other photographers can't go. You have access to people that nobody else has access to, and places that they don't have access to. Like Perry Farrell, Jane's Addiction, if anybody even knows who Jane's Addiction is. Anybody? All right, good. Well, you never know anymore. So I was on the road with Perry, and I could shoot whatever I wanted. I walked in on he and his wife making out on the floor. That's what they were doing. They were in the dressing room, and I walked in, I was like, oops, sorry. They're like, no, take pictures. So I went and got back my fisheye lens because I saw in my head the picture that I wanted to capture. I came back in. He's on the bottom. I think she was on top, and he's looking up at me, and she's looking at me. And it's just an awesome picture. And when you capture that stuff that other people don't get to capture, it feels great. You know, I don't shoot a lot. I've always been a selective shooter. It's just getting into the shooting mode is enjoyable. I'm totally different. I get very quiet. I don't talk when I shoot. I get into some kind of zone, like athletes get into a zone. I get into the shooting zone where I just visualize things. I see it before it happens. It's weird, but I think photographers talk about that. You pre-visualize what's going to happen. Like shooting a hockey game, I know that this is going to happen, so I better be prepared for it. The whole philosophy that goes into it is cool. Did I peel it back enough?
I can listen to you talk about this stuff a long time.
Really?
Wherever you want to go.
Oh, wow. I'm just thinking of Let's Get It On right now, like Barry White. You know, I could listen to him all day. Question, and then I'll get to you.
Yeah, my name's Alex. I'm an entrepreneurship major as well.
What's up, Alex? Clickbait.
What's up? Yeah. I was thinking how you said branding and all that. I was curious if you have any trademarks on like I Shoot Raw or.
Yeah, I got to call that lawyer today and give him his money. Literally. They left me a voicemail. Yeah, the trademark thing's an interesting thing. I learned a lot. I started the process of a trademark very early on because you want to protect yourself. And then I hate lawyers because they want to charge you for staples and they want to charge you for paper clips. And I read over this new lawyer's form yesterday, agreement form, and I was just drawing all over it and just writing no. Because with documents, you can write all over them. You don't agree with something, just cross it out and write something you do agree with, and they have to come back. It had things in there like, we'll charge you 18 cents for a copy. I'm like, fuck you, 18 cents for a copy. It doesn't cost 18 cents to make a fucking copy. Leave me alone. And then it had 50 cents for a facsimile. I'm like, who sends a fax? You know? And then I'm like, do you charge me for emails? I wrote that question. And I'm like, if you are going to bill me for something, you need to tell me before you answer or render a service. I want to know, and that's why a lot of lawyers have fired me the opposite way, because I ask questions. Yes, because I will not, I just don't like that. Do your job, get paid to do it. Don't tell me that your intellectual property is your brain and you get $300 an hour to think. Fuck you. Not you. But But no, it pisses me off because they say that stuff like, oh, my brain isn't good? I give away free video content. Do you think if you were a lawyer that gave away free shit and sat in front of your desk and started talking to the camera and become the lawyer that everybody turns to, you're giving away free stuff, but you're not giving away the farm. You can sit there and spit it all day long, and then when people, they're going to think, you better call Saul.
Oh my God.
I mean, you better call Saul. My friend did all the photos for that. And he did all the ones.
I can tell you hate lawyers. You got that passion right now.
Oh, yeah, that's my passion, is despising. Well, so back to the trademark question. This has the TM on it.
Okay.
So with trademarks, you're protected when you first use it. It's harder to get to win the case, but you can prove that you used it first at a certain point, and you can do that. I'm trademarking. This turned out to be harder to trademark because it's font on a shirt. It's not a graphic. I could trademark my Fronos Photo logo on the back because that is trademarkable. It's a graphic. So we're going through he thinks we may be able to get this done, but I also have it on my camera straps. I have it on wristbands. I have it on lens caps and camera straps. All those things are trademarkable. So I've been using it there, and so that's why I still have protection. But now that I knew early on I didn't have a lot of money to do it, but I invested in it, and that lawyer was a dick. He fucked up. He dropped the ball. He didn't do it right, and he was a bully. He was one of those lawyers that was a bully. Just always trying to bully. He was a dick. So now I'm working with the new guy, came recommended from another friend, and just told him, look, this is what I'm looking for. Please just give me a price. And I understand if there's more work in the future that's needed, because I understand the government charges you to file, and your time is worth something. I get that. And again, being on the phone and being able to deal with people is really important. Stephen can tell you how abrupt and how many times I've pissed people off when it happens, or he'll tell me if I say something the wrong way. It's not what you said, it's how you said it, as my dad would constantly tell me, but I learned from him. So I tell him that, and he says, well, you don't have to follow in my footsteps with that. But where was I? Lawyers, you want to get back on? So the trademark thing, we're in the process of doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that
I
good?
was just wondering, because I know like Johnny Manziel has like Johnny Football trademark, like stupid stuff like that. Like I'm sure like, like he makes $1 million off of that crap.
Well, I mean, you want to protect yourself. That stuff's important because I don't want somebody going out and people are producing this shirt right now. Not exactly this shirt. You can go onto like Redbubble or any one of those other sites and find people that are using iShootRaw. But one, they look like shit. Two, they are way more expensive than mine. I sell mine at $14.99. There's some profit in there, but it's not selling a shirt for $19.99. I'm not looking to make a ton of money off of shirts. This is branding. People buying this stuff. I sold for the holidays from November, before Black Friday, from like November 20th till the end of the year, I sold shirts for $11.99. Just get them out the door. Just turn it over. Get people to buy it. And then everybody that bought it got an air freshener. Why? Because I do sniff tests. I do sniff tests of gear. I think this is just taking me down another path, is when I first made videos, they weren't the typical boring videos that people were used to seeing about photography. I would sniff test lenses and say it smells like Snuffleupagus or something, just because it's weird. Or it smells like the color purple, and people sit there and go, what the fuck is the color purple smell like? And it's just like, whatever, it's different, it's unique. So I've had the sniff test for a long while, and somebody's like, one of my friends made a joke about getting air fresheners, so I got air fresheners. I found the place in Florida that does air fresheners for like Pep Boys, all the big companies. I reached out to them, and 5 days later, I had my first 1,000 air fresheners in different fro fragrances. And then they cost me, I think they cost me, what, Steven, do you remember? Did I tell you, was it like 70, 42, 52, 72 cents?
I think it was 70.
72 cents is expensive to give away. But everybody that placed an order, I gave them this air freshener because they're going to remember it. They'll put it in their car and they'll look at it and be like, oh, that's cool. I have a bobblehead that talks, for God's sake. Why? Because it's weird. It's different. It's like a business card. I hand somebody a bobblehead that talks. It says 10 different things. It's really cool. And it costs some money, and I will never make my money back on it, but it was cool. I can just give them away to people, and they put it in their office, and people walk by and press the button. People give them to their kids. Their kids sit there and they hate doing it because then their kids go around saying Fronos Photo all day long. But that's one of those weird things that happened with my site, is early on I realized that parents were sending in pictures of their kids watching my videos. We're talking 3 to 5, 6-year-olds, just sitting there bobbing their head to my song, or going Fro knows photo. So they latched on to something that says that they're not learning photography. They're just sitting there, they found me to be funny to watch, which I've always wanted. I'll do a kid's show. That'd be fun. Yeah, why not? All right, you had a question, and then we'll.
How did you learn to do all this?
What?
What do you do?
What do I do?
Because like we go through college to have a process to learn how to think or get guided to think, but you said that you didn't complete college.
Well, I went to a 2-year school that was just straight photography. There was one business class with the guy that sounded like, okay. Good teacher though, but every other word was like, okay. It was good. The process, or how did I do this?
Did you learn to do all this? Like through books?
I don't read.
Met?
Reading is not fundamental with me. Steven can tell you, we had this issue on the last Raw Talk, and it's been a problem with me since I was a kid. Reading comprehension I fail at that. I miss, like, don't and do. I will read don't as do sometimes. I don't know if I'm dyslexic or what, but I was reading a question, and then it's completely different when it says do or don't. It can get you in trouble. No wonder why in class, when I was a kid and everybody would turn in some kind of homework assignment, I sat there and said, what homework assignment? I was too busy drawing and doodling and not paying attention, but still, how did I learn this stuff? A lot of this has been trial and error. A lot has been common sense to me. What is common sense? So the question was, how do I learn this stuff, or how do I learn what I do? And a lot of it is trial and error, or I just go with what feels right. And then learning is just by doing. It's like you don't become a better photographer by reading somebody's website. You become a better photographer by going out and shooting. You become a better business person by doing business. Everybody's going to fail. You're going to have those failures. You won't succeed at everything, but it's good to fail. It sucks to fail, but you learn from it. You know, it makes you better. What happened?
We were talking about this in class. And,
What, failing?
yeah, about failing, but there's no failing. It's just experience.
No, fuck that. There's failing. You fail. No, you got to own your failures.
Fixed mindset.
You fail at things. But you pick yourself back up and you don't wallow in the failure. You do learn from it, but it's like that, everybody that plays t-ball and they all win. No, there's losers. Like when I had holiday scratch-off cards, Wheel of Fro, it said winner, and then it said sorry, try again. But I wanted it to say loser. I really did. I would say you are a loser, because it would be funny. But you can't always do that. I learned a lot from my dad in business. He's a salesperson. It kind of runs in the family. My brother's in business with him as well. And I used to go, he was a children's wear salesperson. So before there were Kmart's and all these big-ass Walmarts and stuff buying stuff, you had mom and pop stores all around that did children's wear. So he was a manufacturer's rep. He would rep like Members Only, the children's wear line for Members Only, which was pretty damn hot in the 80s. That's how I think we moved into the better area that we moved into, because he did good business with it. He would go to the stores, or they'd come to his office, and I would sit at the office as like a 6, 7, 8-year-old, just off to the side, drawing or eating a steak sandwich or something, and I just listened to him. It wasn't hard selling. It was like, you know what? I don't like this product this year, so I think you should not look at this. I don't think you should invest. I don't think your company should buy this year. So just listening to the honesty that came out of it, understanding that he wasn't just selling something just to sell it. He was like the Coca-Cola tried to make clothing in like 87, 88. There was all the multicolor things. That was the big thing in the 80s, especially in the late 80s. All those, like, can you say Bill Cosby anymore? All those sweaters, not Coogee sweaters, they weren't out yet, which I did own a couple. They were awesome. They're still awesome. But he had the Coca-Cola line, and I think Strawbridge's or Wanamaker's, I don't know if anybody knows what Wanamaker's is, but they came in and he's like, don't buy this. And they didn't listen to him, and they bought it, and it flopped. And that gives you a lot of credibility into the future, because you know what you're talking about. I mean, that's the point. You listen to experts. But this whole internet stuff, I went to internet marketing events. I would never pay $3,000 to go listen to internet marketers, because a lot of them are shysters. I think 90% of the people that go out there and talk, they're trying to sell you coaching which I've thought about doing mentorship for people where they pay X amount of dollars and you talk to them once a week and help them with their work and stuff. I don't see a problem with that. I mean, I guess that's what the coaching that these people are selling. Some of them sell $10,000 coaching things, which is just, it boggles the mind. So I was going to these internet marketing events. The first one I went to was in Florida. It was in Tampa. It was a fitness event. And I was there as a photographer. And this was the first time I was introduced, and this was a little over 5 years ago. It was the first time I was ever introduced to the thing that people were actually selling stuff on the internet. And this so happened to be fitness stuff. And at this conference, all they were doing was standing up there trying to sell stuff. I'm not a big fan of sales pitchy stuff. We good, Stephen? I'm not a big fan of everybody just trying to sell from the stage. That's bullshit. That comes back to that credibility thing. And I was listening to these people, and then somebody told me that there's another event I should go to. And I wasn't going to pay the $3,000 to go to the event, or this one was like $900. So I called the guy, and I'm like, I want to photograph your event for you. I'm not going to charge you. I'm going to give you the photos. Here's the work that I've done. Always lead with your work. Don't bullshit. There's no reason to, quick. People are busy. Hi, my name is, I want to do X. Here's the work that proves it. Let's talk. And so I sent it to the guy, and he's like, all right, I'll pay for your hotel room. Come on up and do it. And that was my first introduction to a real internet marketing event, listening to people that were either successful or not. Then I met another internet marketer who had a bigger conference that was the $3,000 one, and I called him, and they already had a photographer. And then I called him again right before the event, and he's like, I'm at this event. He didn't say it. I got his voicemail, but if it's an emergency, call my assistant. I called the assistant. I said, hey, I know you already have a photographer for this event, but I'll be willing to come up there and shoot it for nothing as a second person. I got a call 3 hours before the day before the event saying, are you still interested in coming, because the other guy backed out. So then now I'm in with these really successful high-end internet marketers that aren't selling bullshit, and I'm sitting there at the front, like in front of the front row listening. I hear Gary Vaynerchuk speak. The guy, I thought he was going to be an arrogant New Yorker, which he's an arrogant New Yorker, but he's very good at what he does. And what I loved about what he did up on stage is he did not bullshit it. Crush It was his thing back then. Crush It. Go read Crush It. It's like really inexpensive, and it's a couple years old now, but it's one of those kick in the butt type of things that it's mentality. His whole thing is if you're not passionate about something, you're not going to do it. Be passionate about what you do and just go out there and crush it. He talks about hustle. If you don't hustle, if you don't bust your ass, like instead of going to the bar every single night, why don't you take those 4 or 5 hours and make something, make content? That was my thing. I used to go to the bar on like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I didn't drink. I would just bring a High C orange into the bar because I don't know why. And then I just sat there and I'm like, the same people are going to the bar every night of the week. I'm like, can I be doing something productive? Can I be creating something to better me, better myself? And then I went home and I just basically locked myself away for a year and a half to 2 years making content. I still went out, I still did things, but every day was focusing on creating and engaging with my readers. Because that's the only thing I could do early on was just talk to people. Answer their questions personally. Don't be hidden behind a brick wall. So I did that, and I don't even know what the question was. What was the question? Where was I going with that one?
Clickbait?
No, not clickbait. No. I don't forget where we were going. I don't know. Well, I was going somewhere.
It was off of T-ball.
It was off of T-ball, then losers?
Yeah.
There are losers. Stop teaching kids that it's okay to lose. Seriously, you got to have this mentality. It is okay to lose. Why would you play if you can't lose? You want to freaking win. You want to be that last person standing there because that feels good to win. But it's also humbling to lose. And it also drives you more to be better. Yeah. Question.
I just wanted to know, has there been a time where you failed so epically that it just kind of it forced you to realize what you had a better direction going? Because I know for me, I'm a photographer at a camp over on the East Coast, and so there was a time where one summer we had probably about 8,000 photos that we could use for advertising or putting them out, because we do mostly at the end of each week we have the recaps, the recap video and all the photos and stuff for parents and friends. But we put them all on a hard drive, and that external hard drive crashed, and we lost everything. So it really helped us look at different things.
Where were the backups?
Yeah.
One hard drive to rule them all?
Apparently, yeah.
That's bad. It failed. It disappeared. It went incognito. So
That's what we learned though, is that we need backups.
you hope, because it's not a matter of if a hard drive fails, it's when it fails. You want to take as many precautions as possible. Sending stuff into the clouds, having multiple copies. I mean, we'll back everything up. Hopefully, we've failed on Raw Talk before. I'll talk about some. Just remind me to talk about other epic more. I don't use that word. Tremendous. I use tremendous. I'm trying to make that epic now. Tremendous, because epic's overdone. We did a Raw Talk. Steven called me and he's like, "I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you, but the focus is off on your angle. It's focused on the brick wall and not on you. I can come in tomorrow and we can refilm the whole show." And I'm like, I don't want to redo the show because it was really good. He said, "What do we do?" I'm like, at the beginning of the episode, you put up an annotation that says, "Hey, we fucked up. The angle, it's out of focus. So we're not going to cut to it that much this week because we messed up. We're going to try to do better for you next week." And you own it. If you do not own it, people will see right through it. Gary Vee is another, he talks about that all the time. He's like, own your mistakes. He talked about in his latest book, I don't know if he's full of shit with this, but he's like, I sometimes tell customer or clients to do something wrong on purpose just so they can say, "I'm sorry." But if you're honest with people, we messed up. I'm like, it's no big deal. The angle's off. You'll survive. And then there was a time we didn't hit record. What the fuck? Everything was recorded. It was a great episode. It was a great episode. That wasn't the best ever. It was at the time it was really good. And we didn't hit record on the Zoom. So we had the audio from the cameras. And I'm all about quality. Quality content trumps everything else. I say that a lot. So I had to make a choice. We refilmed it right after. And I didn't think it was as good. But guess what? You put it out, who would have known that it was our second show? They didn't know because we didn't tell them. We messed up and we then made sure that we try not to mess up going forward. And I had a premonition that night before that we were going to mess up. I don't know what the hell that was all about, and it happened. Bad. Go with your gut, but we fixed it. We messed up. We just redid it, and it was what it was. I didn't want to put out a subpar quality piece of content. And what was going through my mind is, yes, the people that have already watched the first 80 episodes would be okay with it. But what if this is somebody's first introduction to my show? What if it's their first time that they've seen one of my pieces of content and the first time is the audio sucks? I don't want that to be the first thing out there, and that's why I sat there. I didn't flip out though, did I?
No, you're good.
Because I used to have a tendency to just flip the fuck out. And that doesn't get you anywhere. You have to get to the point where it's like, you know what, it's over. Now let's find a solution to be successful. And you just have to get into that mindset. I can flip out, but the time that we were on Creative Live and we were filming for like 13 minutes and then they cut me and I'm like, what? He's like, well, this guy didn't hit record. And I'm like, options. Steven's like, oh shit, it's about to go down. And I'm just in my head, I'm like, I have six of my readers watching that were invited, and I got all these people. I'm like, so you have two options. You can flip out, you can get all nuts, but what purpose does that serve? And I just said, really? You forgot to hit record? I gave him a little shit. And then when we start recording again, I made sure that I was giving people some notes like, don't forget to hit record because, and then so, whatever. But you gotta roll, you have to roll with it. Stuff's gonna go wrong. You just have to roll and just find a solution to get around it. Yes?
So everything's got rules.
Yes, Steven.
Creativity's got rules. Business got rules. Photography's got rules. The rule of thirds. You don't overexpose, underexpose, etc. How important was breaking them or following them for you in getting where you are today?
Certain things are rules for a reason, and then other things aren't. I mean, I don't know what rules I break. I don't know what rules I follow. It's just, to me, I go with common sense, unlike most of the world. If it makes sense to me, then I'm going to do it, or what my gut says to do. The gut thing, you can take it or leave it, but generally your intuition's pretty good if you feel a certain way about something. I don't follow any certain methodology other than quality content, busting my ass, doing what I think is right for me and what's also right for my readers. And if it doesn't make sense to me, then I've learned if somebody else is fully behind something, it just doesn't feel right, don't do it. Just don't. Go with what you think, because you'll get, that reminds me of a story that I won't tell. Nah, it's not worth telling. It would take me somewhere that I don't need to go. Anybody else?
Do you have any, we are graphic designers. in this whole-
Is that table the graphic design table?
So, did you, here they're really big on getting internships to get you into the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you have to pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about
I think that the best thing in the world that you can do is work for a real company, any way that you can. If it's an internship, it is, and bust your ass and try to make your way, make a mark with them that they want to hire you, or see that you're so good that they can recommend you to somebody else. I mean, the thing that I didn't get out of I didn't go to a 4-year school was you don't have that alumni association of people to go talk to. That stuff's really important. I was all about, when I was younger, not working for people, not assisting anybody because I thought I was too good, and that was wrong. I should have been assisting for everybody that I could. I would learn so much if I did that. I mean, I still ended up happy with where I'm at, but if you can just call people that you want to work for, just don't call me every time. No, it's just, I get so many messages and people that you try to keep your everybody close, but if there's something that you want, go for it. I know that sounds cheesy, but internships I think are good. But you'll find that there's a lot of companies, like you go to sports, any sporting event, or even like Live Nation or where Steven used to work, and with radio, they're always bringing in interns and then they flush them out next year. Very few actually stick. But the good ones, Steven, good ones stick every once in a while?
Every once in a while.
Yeah, I mean,
Like 2 or 3 keepers that, out of 20 or 30 that they had.
every once in a while somebody's really worth it. I'm just going to make sure that this is good. Yeah. Every once in a while, I think it's great to work for somebody, because the best way to learn how to do all the stuff you're learning in this class is to put it into practice and do it. You could sit here and teach. I mean, there's pros and cons to school. You're all here, so that's all right. I'm not going to tell you not to go to school. I still think a 4-year school is awesome for learning a little bit about everything at this point. Get your marketing degree, get your branding. Can you open the door, please? I don't think going to school for photography makes much sense anymore directly, but having a photography degree, having a graphic design degree, understanding marketing and branding and all of that stuff is really important. Thank you, sir. Excuse me as I drink some water. It's not like I got to speak for an hour and a half tonight at the next show. I just like talking. So, no, it's really just get into the world. If you know people, use the ins that you have. Nepotism is whatever it is. If you've got, it's not your fault that somebody was successful before you or has help that they can give you. Sometimes it sucks when nepotism is there, like, oh, well, this is Bush territory. Do we go? We don't go there. Because we won't, no. But, oh, God. So take whatever you can do to work for somebody. I think it's really important. Even if they're not paying you, you're getting real world experience that you didn't have to, you're just working for. I mean, that's the best thing. Getting hands-on is what it's all about. You're going to learn so much working for a company, how the meetings work, how they come up with ideas. Maybe you come up with an idea that you throw out there and they're like, shit, we're going to hire you. That was a great idea. I just read something on TechCrunch about this girl who knew nothing about designing video games, but went to a fair and signed up to be an intern and found it to be really fascinating. And in her off time, she started to program something, and she went back to them with the idea, and they said, we like that, let's test it out. And they put her in charge of managing people. And then they ended up saying, we like it, let's put more resources behind it. And she got a full-time job there, yet she couldn't get into school because of her grades. It's just, that's the old way of thinking. That's my answer. Couple more? Because you have it till what, 2? Does a bell ring or something? I mean, this isn't like Bayside. Does anybody know what Bayside is? Saved by the Bell. Lance coming up with the Saved by the Bell reference. Screech. You want me to talk about clickbait?
Sure, clickbait.
Is that a book that says mindset?
Yeah,
You need a book to tell you about mindset? Did you write it? No. Is that something that you teach in here?
Somebody a lot smarter than me wrote it.
Yeah, who wrote that?
Her name is Carol Dweck.
Is-
Stanford.
Is it good?
Yeah.
So I should try to read?
There's an audio book, don't worry.
I don't like audiobooks though. I like books that keep my attention. Like I read The Facebook Effect. Did anybody read The Facebook Effect? I loved it because it's the authorized story of the origins of Facebook. It was the writer that was there and allowed to be there by Zuckerberg in 2006 on. It's not the movie. The movie is one of the most inspiring movies ever, which was based off of Aaron Sorkin's Accidental Billionaire, or a book, Accidental Billionaire, and then he wrote it into a screenplay. What's it called? Social Network? Man, that movie's awesome. Just you want to be inspired, watch that freaking movie. Every time I watch that movie, I come up with a new idea. Because I love movies like that.
Fixed and growth mindset is?
Who?
Do you know what fixed and growth mindset is?
No.
Then you gotta read the book.
Do I know what fixed and I don't? Okay. All right.
She gave a TED Talk. It got posted up last week on the homepage of TED.com.
I should watch that. There's a TED Talk.
There you go.
That I'll watch.
Depends on what holds your attention.
Well, 20 minutes? What's it, 22 minutes? Or is it 12 minutes?
18's the magic number.
18's the number on that one? Yeah, so, what? I got off topic on your book? Yeah, clickbait. Who knows what clickbait is? What is it?
BuzzFeed.
Yeah. Yeah, well, weird tricks at work. There's nothing more that pisses me off than when I get people that comment on something that's like, this is just clickbait for us to go click and read it. It's called a fucking headline. That's what a good headline does. But clickbait is when it's bullshit and you lead people to somewhere and there's never a follow through. That's clickbait. If your headline and clickable link has nothing to do with whatever it is that you're talking about, to me, that is clickbait. So it really pisses me off when I write something that has something to do with what I'm doing and people tell you that it's clickbait. No, that's just a good headline. You know, you just have to be careful. And clickbait, there is a lot of it out there, like, you'll never believe what happened next. Like, give me a break. I would like a Kit Kat. Like branding and marketing, right? Kit Kat. They have Andrew WK doing that now. What else? What else? That was clickbait. That's what I wanted to talk about there. And then tell me how much time I have, please.
One or two more questions. and we'll wrap it up.
Okay. Anybody?
So I saw
Lance.
kind of getting this picture of you that you like raw things, you like real things.
I like sushi.
Yeah. Okay.
I like sushi. I had sushi last night. Is there sushi around here?
Yeah.
Like,
A good sushi place.
whoosh.
But I saw on your website that you had the video. I didn't have a chance to watch it, but it was you, your mom, at the graveside.
Yeah.
And so, like, what was that process like? I mean, because you said you like to be real, so I'm assuming that's part of like
Yeah.
what you want to do.
Yeah, that one.
Honest.
So it was about the About page. If you go to fronosphoto.com/about, there's a picture of me sitting in front of my mom's gravestone. That was, I think I lost it in 30 seconds. I was sitting there. It was 2 years after she died, so I was trying to figure out, I don't know, I just had things I wanted to say. And this was before my website. So, yeah, because I didn't make the website till after she died. So this was new into my website, and after she died, I talked into a microphone and I was recording just some thoughts. And so I had that saved, and then I had all these photos that I took from the time that she was sick to the time she, basically till 2 weeks before she died, or maybe even less. And then I sat down in front of the grave and I just started talking. I don't know, it was whatever was coming out. At the time, like 4 years ago, I think people aren't used to seeing somebody just put it all out there. Being okay with being emotional, because so many people hide away the fact we're all emotional people. You watch athletes, like you watch on Sunday, Seattle, the quarterback's crying at the end of the game because he can't believe what the hell they just did. It's emotion. If you're passionate about something, you're going to be emotional about it. It's all right to show it. And that's what that video was about, was showing that And that's not why I created it. It's what happened. I didn't know what I was doing when I was out there, but I wanted to share the photo story with people, and I wanted them to get into the mindset of what I was going through and how I hid behind the camera, and that hid away my emotions and all of this stuff. And it was okay to put that out. And it's okay. And I was getting messages from like hardened men, not hard. That was horrible. That sounded bad. When I mean hardened men, I mean like. That, all right. Tremendous, yeah. You know, these, just, anyway, people that don't normally cry that were sending messages like, I cried from this. You know, people just seeing it like, I felt the emotion. And that to me is what is important to get across, is the realness that you were talking about. It's raw, it's real. It's not pulling any punches, I'm not fake. I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm going to show you the good, the bad, the indifferent. And I think it gave, what I got out of that video from other people is that it showed them that it's okay to show emotion. I was raised it was all right to show emotion at home. I mean, we weren't not able to show emotion. There was nothing wrong with it, you know, so it's, that was that. Yeah, it's just transparent, being honest with people, sitting here today and telling you about Squarespace and advertising and how it all works. There's no secrets to it, and I've got nothing to hide about it. And people that should be very open and honest about their stuff anyway. It's you can't. One of the things that people ask is, are you worried that somebody else is going to steal your job as a photographer? If you're teaching everybody, I used to think that, and I'd be sitting there being like, I'm so good at what I do, but why is this guy who's terrible getting these jobs? Well, he put himself out there and just did it, and then I was just like, I got something to say. I might as well go say it. And what was I saying? What was I saying?
Being real.
Yeah, I got that. I was going somewhere.
Stealing your job.
That one. It was the stealing the thing. Like people are like, aren't you worried that somebody's going to take your job? I'm like, well, no, because they can't do what I do. Nobody can do what you do because you're going to put your own flair on it. Nobody's going to be able to shoot the same picture. I could give somebody the best camera in the world. I can set it for them. I can tell them what to shoot, but they're going to be a split second different than me. And they're not going to capture what I envisioned and what I was going to get. Sure, people are going to come close. They know what they're doing. But there's a lot of people that they just can't do it. They can't do what you do. So do you. What? Parking. Don't get a ticket. I hear they're sticklers about it. I saw that vehicle going by. I was like, don't you even think about it. But anyway, that's what I got to say. Is you have something, just beat the shit out of it. Be passionate about whatever it is you do when you leave here, or even just start now. I mean, there's no right time to start. Well, actually, the best time to start is right now. That's really the crutch of it, the crux of it. Is just do it. Don't wait. Goddamn Nike. I mean, I wouldn't be standing here if I didn't just take a risk and start making videos. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool in under 5 years to have built something basically a lot by myself with a little bit of help from people, and now having Steven as the only full-time person that I have, and then having small pockets of teams other places to help the expansion. I mean, expansion is, I'm learning. I'm learning a lot about how to deal with people. Because I have had a way of just being very abrupt with people, which I tend to do depending on the situation. And it's a learning experience to try to build something. Because it's one thing to have a success, but it's another thing to take it to that entirely new level. It's successful now. Am I satisfied? No. Am I ever going to be satisfied in it? No. I always question everything I do. I'll walk out of here today and think, did anybody get anything out of that? You don't question myself. I second guess it. It's just the nature of who I am. I worry about that stuff. But yeah, yeah. One last thing.
I got something out of it.
What'd you get out of it?
Plenty, a lot of different things.
Well, thank
about
you.
Just being yourself, doing what you want to do, how you want to do it, when you want to do it.
You know what you say? I think everybody should just say, fuck it. No, fuck it, just do it. I actually wrote that the other day. Well, that's Team America. No, it's just, my dad will get angry with me for, you don't need to curse that much. But sometimes it's for effect, right?
So last week in class, what was the article that we discussed? They dropped 127 27 F-bombs in an article, a popular blog post put up by a guy named Mark Manson about a week ago. Pretty cool stuff. I'll shoot you a link.
Thank you. So I will leave it pretty much at that. I thank you guys for listening. Just do it. Seriously. Whatever you want to do, I don't think there has been a better time for business to be a successful business person on your own than today. We have the internet. Is still, as Gary Vee used to say, it's just starting to drive. It's 16 or 17 years old. It's so new. There are so many places that you can be successful out there. You can find your niche, you can exploit it, and you can the tools are there for you to be successful. Don't work for somebody and sit behind a desk for the next 20 years wondering what could have been. Somebody, I don't know who said it. There's a guy, woman, man, somebody said a quote. It's just, you may not like your job today, but could you ever come back and do that job? Like, you can come back and do it. Take the risk on that other thing, because what's the worst that can happen? You end up sitting here again doing that thing you've already been doing, but at least you know you can do it. So go and take a risk. Take the risk on yourself. I better stop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign out. I'll say my name, and you guys can do the rest, all right? You should know the rest. All right, guys, hope you got something out of that from the University of South Florida, St. Pete. Go Bulls. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.